Now, in the earlier days, people, I'm not saying that everything was fair and square and good and nice. There were problems in journalism, and there were problems reporters might have had with their bosses. They were always there. But the difference was that there was not so much influence or so many requirements placed on the table by the government of the day. I'm not saying all governments were very fair. All governments were very, they encouraged free journalism. But I find, and a lot of people I know tell me that senior people tell me that there are more requirements placed on the table by people in government, by corporate companies. So, you're as a reporter, you are restricted anyway. And, if you are, I'll give you an example. Just a random example. If someone is interested in environment reporting and 5 corporate companies decide he or she shall not, or even one big player decides that he or she shall not cover environment because it's uncomfortable, the editor is told and the person is taken off the beat and put onto some other beat in which he or she has absolutely no interest. I think a time will come, and I can already see it, that people do not put complete faith, at least thinking people, in newspapers. They don't put complete faith in a lot of the TV channels, certainly, because what the TV tells us very often may be inaccurate and maybe grossly inaccurate, as was revealed, in political coverage. It's easy to get away with vagaries, but when you're dealing with a pandemic, this is serious stuff where, there are no ambiguities, and there shouldn't be. But I would say that, government dishes out data. You had one gentleman telling us that the pandemic will be over in sometime in April last year, which is grossly inaccurate, but it was reported by everybody. So, even when they give out data, they are constantly slipping up. How do you come to know whether they are slipping up? So you have very dedicated people like Vidya Krishnan and some others who have been able to give a correct picture about the pandemic. And they were people who are health specialists. They were people who knew the subject, who knew when somebody stands Gyan Bhavan and tells a lie, is telling a lie. And I can see a lot of people I know are going to channels on YouTube, are going on alternate media, where reporters are letting their mind speak, and they are letting facts speak. Because the pandemic was a classic example of, false information being packaged as official statements and official news. On a positive side, I think things will change, because it can't remain this way forever. Because, we are seeing a decline in the interests that readers are showing, and that is quite well, I think, established. A lot of people within the media themselves have begun to believe that people are not going to newspapers as often as they would have in the past. Now, if you want to be independent, I think the mainstream offers very little space. That is the truth, whoever says it. Now, you find certain papers, they take slightly critical pieces and put it into the premium slot so that most people will not read it. And yet they can claim, oh, we are pretty liberal, but they are not. So think there is clearly space for a very serious and paper or publication or media venture which looks at things objectively and which is meant for people and not meant for the government. Certainly not for the government.